I think the code administrator has already started recording. So please tell your colleagues that we are here in about 5 minutes time. No, 5 minutes is even too late. Let's start now. So tell them to join as soon as possible, immediately, so that we can start. Today we have just quite a few things to cover. At the end of the lecture, we'll go over the questions I sent you. And so I hope everybody has at least gone through them. So kindly look at all of those and prompt your colleagues so that we can join and start immediately. I'm giving you still 4 minutes. So 12:30 then we start. Is that okay? Uh, as promised last week, today we are going to conclude population and development. We are going to sum everything up and draw curtains on population and development today. And I believe that today as well, I hope you can all hear me.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
please.
Okay. Today we are going to draw curtains on population and development. And so issues surrounding population and development must be addressed today. As well, I think somewhere last week, I mentioned to you that cover chapter 1 to 7, quiz 2, 4 to 7. Sorry, I think quiz 1 will cover chapter 1 to 4. Okay, 1 to 4, for quiz 2 to cover chapter 5 to 7. So 4, 3, split evenly. All right. Okay. Now, today, as we also discussed last week, today we are going to do the final presentation and then also look at some of the questions that I sent to you. And I hope you actually went through the questions as we discussed. But before we do any of that, let's briefly go over what we did last week. Your number is still quite low, so I would ask that you prompt your colleagues on your platforms to join as soon as possible. So last week, we actually did something on population and development as chapter 5. And in that lecture, what we did was to look at the definition for development and then its relationship with the population. In fact, we got to understand last week that development is not a destination, development is not an outcome, but development is a process and one that does not end, meaning that the moment you begin, you continue. And that is why even the quote unquote developed countries still find ways and means to improve life for themselves because human needs are always changing and always increasing. And so there's the constant need to attain positive change in your social life, economic life, environmental life. All of those things together lead to what we call development, so a positive change. Then we also looked at certain ways of measuring development. We got to know that indeed it is important to measure development because you must know where you are and how to plan for it. But among the various types of measures of development, last week we looked at just two of them, the GDP per capita and the Human Development Index. Under the GDP per capita, we explain it as being the total value of all finished goods produced in the country. So you put together the value, okay, or the monetary value of all the finished goods produced in the country, and so that is the GDP. But when you divide that by the total population, then you get GDP per capita. So where the per capita literally means per individual or per head. Okay, so essentially how much each person is worth in that economy or in that country. Okay, but we also got to know that there are certain limitations of the GDP where we argued it looks just at the monetary aspect of development. What of the social aspects? Okay, things like living conditions, like health and education. All of those things are absent in the calculation of GDP per capita. So more or less, it's used or it refers to an economic measure of development. That's the GDP per capita. And so it gave birth or it led to the second um, measure of development, what we call the Human Development Index or the HDI. Now, the HDI measures three things: adult literacy, life expectancy, and then the economic factor of GDP. Okay, but in this context, the Human Development Index measures between 0 and 1, with 1 being the best and 0 being the worst. So, uh, uh, realistically, no country actually gets to experience 1 or absolute 0. So absolute 1 or absolute 0 is absent. But the closer you are to 1, the better your performance. The closer you are to 0, the worse your performance or the poorer your performance. Okay. Then we also spoke about the population and environment nexus, under which we got to know of the IPAT formula, the IPAT formula. Now, the IPAT formula is essentially an equation that measures the impact on the environment, how population and its characteristics impact the environment. Okay, the I is for the impact, which equals the P, which is the population, and the population we already know the definition for. Then we looked at affluence. Affluence essentially measures the level of wealth in a country, okay, per individual, per the population. And so essentially how much you're able to spend and consume. But then when you multiply the population by affluence and you also add another variable, which is technology, the T, it expresses how resource intensive the production of affluence is. So the level of wealth that you have in a country, how were you able to produce it? To what extent were you able to use it to the extent of the environment or at the expense of the environment? Is that okay? So that's the IPAT. You multiply the P by the A and the T, then you get your impact. Then we looked at a various number of things under health and development, family planning, so on and so forth. Then we branched into the chapter 6, where we looked at women and development, where the class got very, very interesting, by the way. And we got to know the overview and the status of women. That's increasingly now women are becoming more household heads. We are having more household heads being occupied by women, which is unprecedented. But although their responsibility keeps growing, the level of expectation and what we are actually attributing to them does not change. And so you give them more work to do, but you don't give them leeway or the freedom to do that. And that is becoming also a problem. In terms of politics, for instance, we have fewer women engaging in politics. Okay, we have more women playing the role of a household where they balance the domestic activities with their work. Okay, and they are given no breathing space. And then we also looked at issues about gender violence against women, the fact that much of the time the abuser of the woman is actually a family member. It's actually a family member, and that is very terrible. But we also got to know that the violence is not just against women, because occasionally violence also persists against men. And then we also got to know some of the ways we can empower women, such as through education, through employment opportunities, legislating equality, emphasizing the girl child, and then the male responsibility, which was very important because we got to know that regardless, most cultures just seem to favor the status of men over women. And so if the fight for women's rights and every other thing associated with them is going to be effective, it is imperative for the men to take responsibility because men actually occupy more higher positions than women do. And so the responsibility falls on men to actually assist in making that dream a reality. Okay, we then go to today's lecture. Oh, I think I've opened the wrong one. Um, okay, is everyone here and can everyone see my screen? All right, all right. So today we are going to look at, as I said, the last lecture. Yes, is there? I think a hand is up. Okay, someone was saying yes. Okay, that's fine. Um, all right. Chapter 7: Inequality and Poverty. Inequality and poverty. So essentially, we are drawing curtains. We've looked at all issues about population, and from I think lecture 6 or 5 downwards, we've started to look at things about development, Okay, and so today we are moving into inequality and poverty. Or at the end of today's lecture, there are certain things that you should know. You should be able to know the real meaning of poverty. The real meaning of poverty, where in our context as Ghanaians, when we say someone is poor, essentially what we mean is that the person doesn't have money. Yes, that is what we mean when we say poverty in our Ghanaian context. You don't have money. Okay, but today we'll get to know that poverty transcends just the mere lack of inadequacy of financial meets, okay, financial ways of meeting your own needs. Okay, we also get to know that there persists inequality, okay, especially in terms of income distribution, both internally and then externally as a world, or as the earth. Okay, when you take the whole earth into consideration, you realize that there are certain countries that seem to earn more than certain other countries that earn less. And even unfortunately, it is the fewer rich countries that earn more for the larger population of the countries to earn less. Okay, but let's go into it. Now, understanding life in a country involves more than knowing its per capita income. It requires examining how income is distributed among its population. Now, the average quality of life and the number of people living in poverty depend on income inequality. A high per capita income might mask significant chapter relationship, income inequality, and poverty incidence, providing insight into how these factors shape living conditions in developing countries. Now, a comparison between Brazil and Hungary highlights of income distribution. Despite similar gross national product, that is GNP per capita, Brazil experienced a higher incidence of poverty due to extreme income inequality. Okay, so at this point, I'll pause here to explain what income inequality is. As you may already know, refers to the imbalance between the distribution in the country, where it happens that a few people actually earn more than most people in the country. So assuming Ghana, let's always use Ghana as our reference. Now you come to Ghana, and if it happened that Ghana was experiencing income inequality, it would mean that perhaps maybe 1 million of Ghanaians or 2 million, let's say even 5 million of Ghanaians earn about 90% or maybe 70 or 80% of the total income of the country. So if it was 100 cedis, that 5 million people are taking away just about 7 cedis out of that money. Out of that money. For the more people that are remaining, about 25 million people, they'll rather share just the 3 cedis. I hope you get it. So 5 million people out of the 30 million are getting 7 cedis. And then the 25 million people who are more in number or in population, they are actually sharing just about 3 cedis. And that means there is income inequality. If it was supposed to be equal, you realize that it should be like for like. So 10 million people sharing 100 cedis, everybody gets. So you go to the first 10 people, the lowest 10 people, and they have 1. The lowest 20, they have 2. The lowest 30 have 3 cedis. The lowest 40 have 4 cedis. I hope you get it. So that means there is one, it's almost like a 1:1 distribution. But the moment it appears that more people, okay, are sharing less of that income, then there is income inequality. Okay, I hope I have done justice to that aspect for you. Now, in Hungary, the richest 20% earn 4.5 times more than the poorest 20, while in Brazil, this ratio is over 30 is to 1. For context, high-income countries average a ratio about 6.1. Such disparities illustrate how unequal income distribution can exacerbate poverty, regardless of a country's overall wealth. Now, let's go into the figures briefly. So it says that um, for Brazil, Brazil is having the income distribution pegged at what 30 is to 1. 30 is to 1. But when you look at the average ratio for high income countries, it is pegged at what 6 is to 1. So you have 6 rich people. Let's put it into context so that it makes a little more sense to you. Okay, so you take 6 people, then you find one poor person or one person who is earning less. You take 6 people and you find one person who is earning less. So 6 people earning more and then one person earning less. 6 people earning more, one person earning less. But when you move into Brazil, okay, which is sometimes, although sometimes it's classified as a developed country, there are certain underlying issues over there, such as income inequality. And in this case, they are they are revealing how much 30 is to 1. So you have to count 30 rich people, then you get one poor person, which means that in the end, the you have rich people outnumbering the poor people, which means that there's that level of imbalance over there. When you see a case of the high income countries, you realize that although there's still a gap in there, but it is a little moderate. It is moderate as compared to that of Brazil. Now, globally, income inequality varies significantly across regions. Ratios of income distribution between the richest and the poorest quintiles range from 4 is to 1 in South Asia to about 12 is to 1 in Latin America. In other regions such as East Asia, the Middle East, and North Africa, they exhibit more moderate inequality at 6.1. So over there, it is moderate, it is understandable. Okay. While sub-Saharan Africa, where we find our beloved country Ghana, stands at what 10 is to 1. So we are far over the sort of the global average. Okay, sub-Saharan Africa expect that what 10 is to 1. Now, these regional differences underscore how income inequality is a critical factor in understanding poverty and quality of life worldwide. So, the implication of income inequality is very important that we get to know this. And I hope you have a pen and a paper somewhere with you, jotting some 1 or 2 points down. So, when there is income inequality, it happens that more people who are poor, they are deprived of the means of accessing certain basic necessities for life. Okay, the rich will always be rich and they can easily afford, but they are few in number. So the first implication is that you'd have uh, 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 poor people not being able to meet their ends. One of the first implications is that poor people will not be able to meet their ends, or more people in a country essentially will not be able to meet their ends because they outnumber the rich people, but then they are earning less. And if that is so, it means they cannot meet the ends that they are supposed to. And the ends in this context, I hope you've all taken economics, so you know what ends are. So things that you need for survival, essentially. Okay. Now, that's the first one. The second one means that there will be pressure on the available resources because you have few people being able to afford premium services. The little that is left available will be pressured on by more people. So you have few people in the country. For instance, let's go into the health sector. You have few people being able to afford private health insurance services, okay, like Acacia and the many other ones that we know. Okay, they're able to afford. But the NHIS, which is supposed to be used for all Ghanaians, now you realize that more pressure will be placed on these services because more people are not being able to afford such premium services. And the money that is even allocated for this NHIS does not increase, it's something little. So those are two major implications of income inequality. Okay, and even over time, you realize that there will be instability in the country. Political instability could rise because people will be of the sentiment that we work and work and work and work, but we are earning so little. But few people are having so much money with doing so little. Okay, and so you realize that over time, because of things like unemployment or underemployment, grievances not being heard, these people will pick up arms, start protesting, and then it's going to be a different story. Okay, all right. So this image here, if you have your book with you, I think you should see it a little more clearer. You have the comparison between Brazil and Hungary, as we've looked at in the previous slide, in terms of the income distribution. All right. Now, there are two ways of measuring income inequality. There are two ways of measuring income inequality. There could be more, but today we'll look at two. Now, these two are linked. They are linked, and later on we'll find out how and why they are linked. Now, economists use the Lawrence curves and the Gini indexes to measure and compare income inequality within and across countries. The Lawrence curve visually represents the distribution of income by plotting the cumulative percentages of total income against the cumulative percentages of the population, starting with the poorest. Okay, underlined, starting with what? The poorest. Now, individuals or households are ranked by income and divided into equal groups, that is either quintiles or deciles. The income share of each group is expressed as a percentage of GDP, and the cumulative shares are plotted to create the curve, which starts at 0 and ends at 100% of both income and population. So the Lawrence curve is usually measured between 0 and 100. 0 and 100%, okay, usually in percentage. All right. Now, the shape of the curve reveals the level of income inequality in a country. A perfectly equal income distribution would result in a straight diagonal line, while deviations from this line indicate inequality. Now, the deeper or more bow the curve, the greater the inequality. The Lorentz curve serves as a foundation for calculating the Gini index. That's a linkage, which is a numerical measure of income inequality derived from the area between the diagonal and the Lorentz curve. So let's put all this big English aside for a moment and look at this image here. Now, this image here is basically showing what the Lorentz curve is. Over here, okay, over here, you can, I hope you are able to see my cursor. Over here on, should I say on the vertical axis, you can see the percentage of total income. Okay, so you have 0, 20, 40, up to 100. Now, on the horizontal axis, you can find 0, 20, 40, also up to what? 100. But the first thing that you should see is the black line that runs through. So if it's a perfect or a perfectly equal income distribution, it means that it should be like for like. So 20 is to 20. So when you go to the poorest, remember, when we were here, it said something important. That's what, where is this? percentages of the population, starting with the poorest. Starting with the poorest. Now, if it was a perfectly equal distribution, okay, or income distribution, you should have 20% of the poorest population. Okay, so that would mean 20% of the country who are poor, or the poorest percentage of the population, 20% of the total income. So once again, if it was 100 cities, okay, you have 20% of the 20% of the poorest population earning 2 cities out of that 100 cities. Earning 2 cities out of that 100 cities. The poor for 40%, okay, also earn 4 cities. If you go to the next poor 60%, you would find of the population, of course, they are earning, or they have six cities. So this is cumulative. It is cumulative. So in addition of 20% each, all right, the 80% also have this, and the remaining 20%, that's between 80 and 100, they are also earning 100. So you realize that when you come to the entire country, everybody is earning equal. So 100 is to 100. So that represents what? The line of absolute equality. Let me take it again. When you come to this image, this represents the Lorentz curve. The curve is what is usually shown in the table. Now, you have 100, let me take it from the bottom. So you have the percentage of total income on the vertical axis. So that is 0, 20, 40 to 100. Then on the horizontal axis, you have 20, 40, also to 100. Okay, now, if it happens that the line, or in a situation where there is a perfectly equal distribution of income, it means that the line is straight, first of all, and it is straight because it is almost a like for like distribution. So you have 20% of the 20% of the poorest population. Okay, so out of the population, the 20% who are very poor, when you go there, you find them earning 20% of the total income. Okay, when you go to the 20% of people who are poor in the country, they are earning 20% of the total income. 40 for 40, 60 for 60, 80 for 80, and then 100 for 100. Now, that's the first thing that you should see. The second thing that you should see is that there is a perfect triangle that has been formed as a result of what? The absolute equal level of distribution of income that you can see. Okay, over here it is a straight line, diagonal line, but over here you can see it is dotted. Okay, but it forms a perfect triangle. Now, the red line, as you can see here, indicates that of what? Hungary. Hungary. And then you can find the green line being that of what? Brazil. Now, let's go into that of what? Hungary. Hungary is showing something very significant. When you go to their poorest 20% in their population, okay, those people are earning about 10% of the total income. When you plot it from this side to this side to here, that should give you about what? About 10%. Okay, which is moderate, which is moderate. Now, when you move to their 40%, their 40 lowest, or the poorest percent of the population, these people are earning somewhere around 24, 23 thereabouts percent of the total income of the country. Now, when you move to the 60% of the poorest people in the country, these people are earning about 40% of the total income, or you can find 40% of the total income among these people. Now, when you come to 80%, you can find what? About 61 or 62, maybe even 63% of total income. So the poorest 80% are having this amount of money, which means that the remaining people who are the rich people, okay, the remaining people or the remaining 20% are earning how much? The 100, okay. So the remaining people, they are the ones who are earning the 100. I hope you are getting it. So that is for Hungary, all right? And that essentially means that this is their performance. They are just a little below the the absolute equality line, okay, or the line of absolute equality. Now, when you go to the green line, which represents Brazil, you can see that the poorest 20% are earning just about 1% of the total income. Or when you go to the 20%, the poorest 20%, you can find just about 1% of the country's total income, which is very strange and very disturbing. Now, when you go to as compared to that of Hungary, where Hungary had about 20% earning just 10%, over here they are earning 1% in the green line. When you move to their 40%, those at that time are now earning about 10%. As at the time where Hungary was earning what, 22 or 23. Now, the poorest 80% are also earning how much? Just about, should I say, 30% of the total income, which means that the remaining 20% are the ones who are earning all of this amount. So you can see that 80% of the population, which is more in number, 80% of the population, which is more in number, they are earning lower than 40%, meaning that the few or the lesser percentage of 20% of the population, they are earning over 40%. So this is, if this is 0, 20, 40, 60%. So 20% of the population is earning 60% of total income, or 80% to earn what, 30% or 40%, which is very, very terrible. Okay, so that is that for the Lorentz curve. And if you remember what we said in the earlier slide, we argued that the more bowed the curve or the deeper the curve, the higher the income inequality. So it's possible you may find a country even in sub-Saharan Africa that is performing lower. So which means their curve will be plotted somewhere lower, somewhere here. I hope you follow. Now, let's go to the Gini coefficient. The Gini coefficient, as we were saying earlier, is the area between the absolute line or the line of absolute equality and the actual curve for the country. So all of this area is what we represent by what? The Gini coefficient. Do you understand? So all of this area, as you can see with the hyphens or the lines in there, all of that area is what we refer to as what? The area for the Gini coefficient. Now it is calculated, and so you can find the numerical value for it. All right. Okay. Is there a question to this point, or we can move on? Okay, I
Sir,
think,
please move on.
thank you very much. Now let's move on to the Gini coefficients. Now, this provides a convenient numerical measure for comparing income inequality across countries. It is calculated as the area between a country's Lorentz curve and the line of perfect equality, expressed as a percentage of the total area under the line. A Gini index of 0 then represents a perfect equality, while 100 signifies the maximum inequality. So the closer you are to 1, the better your to 0, the better your performance. While the closer you are to 100, the worse your performance or the higher the levels of what inequality. I hope that is okay. Now, in practice, real world values fall between these extremes as neither perfect equality nor complete inequality occurs in reality. This metric, however, allows for straightforward and comparative analysis of income distribution what globally. So that is for the Gini coefficient. The Gini coefficient is the numerical value for the area between the line of absolute equality and the Lawrence curve for that country. So this one is always there, it's always straight, but the difference is what you measure as what the Gini coefficient. And we are getting to know that it is measured between 0 and 100. So the closer you are to 0, the perfect or the more perfect your levels of income distribution, and the closer you are to 100, the higher levels of inequality that is experienced in your country. Now let's look briefly over here, still under the Gini coefficient. You can see that the Gini coefficient for Hungary is calculated as what? 31%. This means that they are a little closer to the 0 comparatively. Because there are countries that you can find which have a better performance than this. So comparatively, they are performing better than Brazil, which is pegged at what 60%. Remember, it is measured between 0 and 100, 0 being the perfect, 100 being the worst. The closer you are to 0, the more perfect your line and your performance or the levels of equality in income distribution. And then the closer you are to 100, the higher levels of inequality in terms of income distribution. All right. Now, what are the causes of income inequality? What are the causes then of income inequality? What creates that situation where few, is there a question? William, I think your hand is up.
Yes, I have two questions. The first one, you were making mention of Gini coefficients. Is it the same as the Gini index? And the second one, can you help us with the calculation, the formula, or we don't need it?
Okay, so the Gini coefficient, the Gini index is the same thing. Gini coefficient, Gini index is the same thing. So that's for your first question. For your second question, you don't need it. The second question, you don't need it. So let's just stick to this for now. If the calculations are there, but honestly, I doubt there will be calculation that will come in your exam at all. I doubt it. I doubt it. Okay, so
Hello.
let's just stick to hello.
Sir, please, what chapter? I was joining now. Please, what unit? Hello.
Yes, hello. We are chapter 7.
Please, what unit? Oh, okay, thank you.
Not been joining.
Pardon?
It means you've not been joining from the
I was
beginning because
joining and
today
I was joining and I was facing challenge. I
from
came,
the
they said
beginning.
nobody is there. And
Okay,
from the
so
beginning,
we are chapter 7. Okay, we are chapter 7. So
they said, I'm at Ghana's. I'm at
someone raise a
Ghana's.
hand. Hello? Okay. Can we move on?
Sir, please, I
Yes,
have a
sir.
question. Sir, please, a
The
question.
Gini index is basically the same. Is there a question?
Yes, please.
So that's just
I
that.
want, is it the, which one
Asampa,
measures,
Iman, yeah.
yes,
Emmanuel, proceed.
which one measures between 0 and 1, and which one measures between 0 and 100? When we're talking about the Gini and then the Lorentz curves, I'm a bit confused over that one. The one
Uh,
that measures from 0 to 1 and the one that measures from 0 to 100.
okay. All right. So usually the I think is the Gini coefficient that is measured between 0 and 100. It is measured between 0 and 100. The interpretation for the Lorentz curve is usually done on the line. So that one is not measured on an index or on a scale. Okay, it is not measured on a scale. I think I earlier said that was a mistake. So it is the Gini coefficient or the Gini index that is measured on a scale between 0 and 100. Okay, the Lorentz curve is just the curve as you can see, and then its implication or its interpretation is what we have gone through. Emmanuel, are we okay? Pardon me for the mistake. So it is not the Lorentz curve that measures between 0 and 100. It is rather the Gini coefficient. Okay, is that okay?
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Any other question? All right, let's move on to the causes of income inequality. Now, number one, we have structural changes. Structural changes in terms of transitioning from agriculture to industry. And this increases inequality initially. Okay, so when a country transitions from an agricultural-based economy to an industry-based economy, such as in you move into the production of goods like steelworks, like shoes, like any other thing aside the agriculture. Okay, when you transition in that manner, there happens to be inequality at first because people do not know or they are not well equipped to function in that industry. Okay, because in the agriculture they were doing what they were doing. They were farmers. They are skilled people in terms of farming. Okay, now when you move them into, when you diversify into a different sort of economy, okay, these people are not equipped to work over there, and then there happens to be what inequality in terms of income. So that the first one is structural changes, transitioning from one economy to another, one sector of an economy to another. Now, the second one looks at urban migration challenges. Skilled migrants face underemployment in the cities. So people moving from rural areas to urban areas, they also face this issue. And this creates inequality because you are moving from your area to a different area, and you create two situations. One, you are not skilled enough to work wherever you are going to, which means that you'll be employed in a sector that does not really have a value for the skills that you have. Essentially, you'll be paid low. For instance, you may have been a blacksmith in your rural area or in your village. You've moved to the city to work as an electrician. You are not skilled as an electrician, and so the payments that you'll be receiving will be low or will be lesser. All right. Now, the second situation that is created as a result of migration is overpopulation in these urban areas. So you have more people looking for those jobs, available jobs. And when that happens, the payments, or because you have to employ more people, the payments that you'd have given to uh, uh, um, 5 people, you are now going to pay for 10 people. And so since you don't want to increase that amount, you split that money among 10 people, and now more people are earning less. So if it was 100 cedis, 5 people would have shared it equally. So everybody will get what, 2 cedis each. But now, because you have 10 people that you have employed, you don't want to increase their wage. You still pay them 100 cedis, which means that everybody's then going to earn what, 1 cedi each. So that is the second issue under urban migration challenges. So where you have unskilled migrants facing underemployment in the cities. The third one is the technological advances. Now this creates a wealthier entrepreneurial class. Now, let me ask you a question. Which people in a country are more able to adapt better to technological changes. Definitely, it would be the upper class or the rich people, quote unquote. Okay, because these people have been exposed to these things over time, and therefore their ability to adopt and adjust to these changes are higher. And the more they make use of these technological advances, the richer they will get. Let's use two situations. Two farmers. One farmer still uses manual labor on his farm. The other farmer uses what? Tractor and, should I say, mechanized agriculture. Okay. Now, the farmer who employs manual labor will still be earning little, for the one who has now evolved to be using a higher grade of technology, transitioning from hoes and cutlasses to tractors and combined harvesters, he will now be earning more. Okay, simply because he adapted to the technological changes or he invested into these things. And then eventually realize that these people will be earning more, creating the gap that we are seeing, okay, or the inequality that we are seeing, because one person will still be earning less and the other person will be earning more. So that's the third issue, technological advances. Now, the next one looks at policy constraints, where we look at land reforms and wealth redistribution faces political resistance in least developed countries. And then population growth also records higher growth among poor people, increases absolute and relative inequality. So more people being born in these poor areas, higher growth, okay, in these poor areas among the poor, okay, increases absolute and relative inequality. Take into consideration the two things that they have mentioned, absolute and relative. So among themselves as poor people, there will still be income inequality. And when you compare those poor people to the rich people, there will still be inequality, simply because more people have been added. And this is true, because when you look at areas that have a higher population, usually this problem persists, because when you have more people in the country, pressure will be placed on these employment avenues or these employment opportunities. It's not as if the jobs are not there. They are there, but they are just not many enough to suffice for everybody. And so they will be earning less for fewer people to earn what? More. So even among the poor, there will be inequality, and between the poor and the rich, there will still be inequality. So that is that under the causes of income inequality. Now let's look at the costs. What are the impacts of income inequality? The costs of income inequality. Now they are grouped into four. We have the economic impact, political impacts, market challenges, and then social impact. Under the economic impact, we have limited access to what? Resources for the poor, reducing productivity. If you were here when we began the lecture, you would have heard this. Okay, the mere fact that people do not have enough to meet their ends will mean that they can't even access the basic resources for survival. Now, the basic resources for survival include education, health, food, clothing, and shelter. Okay, if someone is not able to meet these ends, it means that the person's level of productivity will decrease. Because if you are not strong enough to work, if you are not well nourished, if you are not well protected, if you don't have the basic knowledge to work in a particular field, when you go there to work, your productivity will be low. Take into consideration two carpenters. You employ someone and you take this person, this carpenter apprentice, after training him, you take him to school, you sponsor his education. He goes to learn crafts and all of these things. You come and put this person in the factory. The levels and the types of things that this person is going to produce, the quality of things he's going to produce will be much higher than someone who you just pick from the street and give him a nail and a hammer to start hammering some one or two things. Do you understand? So that is going to be one of the impacts. Simply because the poor are earning less, they actually bear in mind that these poor people are actually the ones who work in these factories or in the industry to generate income for the country or to increase the levels of GDP for the country. And if these people are earning less, it means that they will have limited access to resources that they will need, eventually reducing what productivity. It also discourages trust and increases business risk. Secondly, we have political instability, where inequality fosters dissatisfaction and increases weakens consensus. I also mentioned this earlier, that in situations where more people in the country are earning less, over time, these people will become dissatisfied. And if their concerns are not well listened to or worked on, it happens that there will be political instability because they will feel they are being cheated. They are working, and it is actually even their work that puts the country on the map. Yes, still, it is not being reflective of their of these sites, because the argument is that you come here to mine gold, and you are claiming that we are the highest producer of gold, okay, or one of the highest gold producers in Africa and possibly even the world at large. Okay, but we can't see the impact of this gold extraction in what will happen. It means that these people will eventually get angry, take up arms, and start doing some of these things that we are seeing, not to justify their actions, but created. All right. So that is the second cost of income inequality. We have political instability. Now we also have market challenges. That to implement market mechanisms such as price, people in the country earning less. It is difficult to properly peg the prices of goods and services at the appropriate amount, because the rich will continue to spend, and it could lead to the creation or the impression that things are okay because the rich are spending, but the poor people may not be able to meet that price that is being pegged. And so it will then be difficult to properly adjust because more people are earning less. And if you are earning less, it means you are going to also consume less. Is that okay? So that is a problem that is also created. The inability to implement price adjustment in terms of pegging the price at an affordable rate such that these poor people can afford, rich people can also afford. The last one looks at social impacts, where income inequality decreases quality of life, increases poverty, impedes progress in health, education, and then crime reduction. So this is basically a summation of the previous three, and especially even the economic impact, because if you do not have enough money to afford certain things simply because you are earning less, it means that your quality of life is going to reduce. Then there will be increases in poverty, where deprivations, okay, poverty is essentially deprivation of well-being. Okay, it would also impede your progress in health. If you are sick, you can't find the proper you can't find a health facility to see to your needs. You can't even purchase medicines that are prescribed for you. You can't also afford to go to schools that will impact you or that will teach you or equip you with the best of skills and knowledge. Okay, it would also be difficult to reduce crime because people are earning less, but their needs and their wants keep increasing, and they must find a way of meeting those needs. How else would they find or meet those needs than engaging in criminal activities. So all of these things are the cost or the impacts of income inequality. Remember, the whole concept of income inequality looks at the fact that fewer people in a country are earning more than more people in the country. Okay, all right. So that is that for income inequality. Let's quickly look at poverty. That should take just about 4 slides. And then we can go to the sample questions that I sent you earlier. All right, let's look at poverty. Now, as I earlier mentioned, poverty usually is attributed to the lack of income or inadequacy of income or money or whatever. So usually poverty is attributed to what? Money. But then today we are getting to know that poverty is a deprivation of well-being. So a lot of things can come into play. Someone can have the money but cannot have peace of mind. Someone can have peace of mind but not have the money. Okay, someone can have the money but not good health, because it gets to a point the sort of disease or illness that is affecting a person cannot be cured. Okay, so all of those things are what? Levels of poverty or types of poverty. But essentially, it all sums up to what? Deprivation. So you just don't have it. All right. Now, traditionally, poverty was understood primarily as a material deprivation, living with a low income and low consumption, characterized by poor nutrition and inadequate living conditions. However, it is evident that income poverty is often associated with what is termed as human poverty, which includes low health and education levels that are either causes or consequences of what? Low income. So low income is basically the root of everything, as we usually put it in Ghana, because when you earn less, you are just deprived of a lot of things. Okay, although certain things, even with the money, you cannot do. Okay, but once you don't have the money, there are certain things that simply you are unable to access these things. Now, income and poverty, human poverty, are also typically accompanied by social deprivations. Social deprivations. So income or low income would be economic deprivations. I hope you are getting it. Low income will be economic deprivations. Okay. Then we also have social deprivations, such as high vulnerability to adverse events like diseases, economic crisis, and natural disasters. For instance, when COVID happened, you saw what happened to Ghana. So to an extent, Ghana was facing what? Poverty. We were poor. As compared to other countries that certain things did not become a problem for them. For us, it's revealed the loopholes in our country. It revealed where we are lacking in the country. Okay, vulnerability. Now, vulnerability is how susceptible you are to shocks and stresses. So if there's a disease outbreak, how are you able to cope with it? Okay, or how easily do you fall to it? If it is catarrh, for instance, and you easily get catarrh, that means you have a high vulnerability to what? Catarrh. You are vulnerable to it, and channel in your catarrh. That's vulnerability. All right. Now, voicelessness in society's institutions. That is also an aspect of what? Social deprivations. Like in terms of what? Women. So women, in terms of politics, they are poor, or they are deprived in that capacity. Is that okay? All right. And then powerlessness to improve one's living conditions. That is also an aspect of what? Social deprivation. Now, let's go on to the geography of poverty. So there's geography of poverty as well. Anyway, now most of the world's poor live in South Asia, over 40%. Sub-Saharan Africa, about 25% of the world's population. I mean, okay, of the world's population, about 40% of the world's poor live in South Asia, 25 live in Sub-Saharan Africa, and then East Asia about 23%. Now, almost half of the world's poor live in just two large countries, China and India. So you get the implication as to why even when we're talking about income inequality, we're saying that the larger the population, most often than not, the higher levels of inequality. And the higher levels of inequality, the higher levels of poverty. Now, these two countries put together are the biggest, they have the biggest share of the world's population. Okay, China and is there a question? Thank God Africa is not part. But Africa, Africa is part. Sub-Saharan Africa over here. 25% of the world's population, of the world's poor population, live in Sub-Saharan Africa. So we are there. Anyway, the highest incidence of poverty is observed in Sub-Saharan Africa. Who Emmanuel Asempa? Who? Okay, so Africa is in there, and we are representing very strongly. The highest incidence of poverty is observed in Sub-Saharan Africa, with almost half of its population living below the $1 poverty line. I don't know if you understand how the brevity of this statement. Okay, if Sub-Saharan Africa's population, let's put it at maybe say 1 billion. Let's put it at 1 billion. Now, about 500 million of this population, that is about a half of that 1 billion, are living in poverty, what we call living below the $1 poverty line. This means that even if you convert the $1 into your own currency, you are not able to spend up to that amount per day. You are not able to spend up to that amount per day. If you come to Ghana, what is the dollar rate currently? I don't know if it's around 11 or 10 or 12 or so. Let's put it at 11 or 12. So 12 cedis essentially. This means that about half of Africa's population are not able to even spend up to 12 cedis per day. That is essentially extreme poverty. That is extreme poverty, because $1. If you are living in America, you are not even able to spend up to $1 per day. Ask yourself this question: what are you able to buy with 12 cedis currently in Ghana? That should tell you the levels of poverty that we are talking about. Currently in Ghana, what are you able to buy with 12 cedis? If you even want to go and buy the normal cocoa and kose and the bread and all those things, it's even more than 20 cedis nowadays. So you can imagine. And Ghana actually performs even a little better than other countries. So you can imagine. Now, Sub-Saharan Africa is followed by South Asia, where over the 1990s, the incidence of poverty went down from 41% to about 32%. Okay, although the absolute number of poor people decreased very modestly. So Southern Asia, although they follow us in terms of poverty, but they are gradually alleviating their citizens out of these levels of poverty. Is there a question? Elijah, is there a question?
No, sir.
All right, sure, let's move on. Now, analysts have found a strong is that when you are able to improve economic growth, economic growth is then linked towards poverty reduction. So when you increase economic growth, you are then reducing poverty. Increase economic growth, even if it's and say that, for example, East Asia, including China, which contains the world's fastest growing economies, to about 1,000. So they have halved their population of people living below the poverty line. So that in China alone, nearly 1 million. But in sub-Saharan Africa, where negative growth of GNP per capita predominated during that period, both the incidence of poverty and the absolute number of poor people, increased from 47 to 49% by 74 million. So whereas 150 million people were lifted out of poverty in China alone, in sub-Saharan Africa, we actually added about 74 million people to the poor people. So that is how bad our situation is. Emmanuel Asempa, I don't know if you want to withdraw your statement now. Anyway, let's look then at the vicious cycle of poverty. The vicious cycle of poverty. Economists generally assume that people's willingness to save for the future consumption grows with their incomes. So what this essentially means is that your willingness to save for the future, or how much you are willing to save, depends on how much you earn. Okay, that is essentially what it means. And this is to an extent true, because the higher you are able to save, the higher you earn, the more you'll be able to save. However, I have a concern, because if you are not used to the culture of savings, is there a hand? If you are not used to the culture of savings, it will be difficult to save, because if you have 5 cedis and you can't save 1 cedi out of it, it is not at the time that you are earning 10,000 that you are going to save anything out of it. When you have the little, you couldn't save. Is it when you have more that you are going to save? Anyway, now it seems natural that the poorer people are, the less they can afford to plan for the future and then save. The poorer you are, the less you are able to afford to plan for the future. How many people are even able to go for this? Let's even put it in the family planning perspective. How many people are able to do this family planning system? How many people are able to even go for this insurance and this pension schemes and what have you? When you ask the people who don't go for them, the argument is that how much am I even earning for them to be subtracting something? Teachers, yes, you you are all teachers here. Teachers are the ones who usually do that. Teachers are the ones who do that. So you realize that, fortunately for you, many teachers are usually under the SNET system, which is government, and it is mandatory. Okay, but how many teachers, how many of you guys over here have gone for any private insurance scheme? Okay, now the more you are able to save, my dear brothers and sisters in Christ, the more you are able to save, the more money that you have put aside to, one, take care of yourself later, and even for emergencies. So those of you who are doing just net, advise yourself. Anyway, that was just by the way. Now, economies. Have I jumped? Okay, yeah, I think I've jumped. Thus, in poor countries where most incomes have to be spent to meet current needs, national saving rates tends to be lower. Because as a teacher, how much do you earn? 3,000, 4,000. I don't even know if any teacher earns 5,000 upwards. But that's the amount of money you are earning. Now, when you factor in your children's school fees, transportation, feeding, remittances to your parents and your other siblings, and you yourself, you've not bought the new shoe that you spotted in the market here too. That piece of cloth that you want to use to sew a kaftan, you've not bought it here too. But you realize that in the end, you've spent all that money on your current needs. And it begs the question, how are teachers able to survive? Please tell me this afternoon. I want to know, how are teachers able to survive? You can raise your hand and speak. How are teachers able to survive? Emmanuel Asampa, yeah.
Teachers' survival has been nothing if not for LOAN, loan.
Um,
That is where
Loan is the
our
issue.
need for survival is. If
Okay.
not because of loans, multiple loans. That is what is
Mm-hmm.
keeping us.
Anyway, thank you. Elijah, talk to me.
Okay, sir. Teachers are able to survive as a result of, I call it as a mathematical magician.
Hey,
Yes,
mathematical what?
magician. Yes.
Magician.
Yes.
Explain it to us.
Sir, the equations we use to solve life problems concerning monetary matter, you can't put it on paper because yes, at the end of the day, you could see that you spend more than your income, and it is all either, as my brother said, a loan that has come to subsidize you, or maybe something just popping, and we always say it's by grace. So how long are you going to live by the grace? Sir, actually, sometimes when I go to my hometown for funeral, I will just go to 1-2 places and then start hiding from people, because anyone who says, "Hey, teacher Waba," and you know what they are expecting from you. And sometimes I'll just sneak my way to my mother's place and then go and stay in the house. And me call home, so I will make sure that I won't spend. As soon as I do, then I'll vanish. That's all. Because sometimes it is becoming a disgrace.
Okay, thank you.
Our survivor is by magic. Thank you.
Magic. Thank you, Elijah.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, talk to us.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think we are just finding our ways to survive. But then also, to me, I would like you and all of us to also advise ourselves as young as we are. The moment we finish from college, the mindset of let me get married and family pressure and get married is one of our biggest problems. Though we know that the money is not enough, but then also we are the cause of the problem, because the moment you get married, the responsibility becomes too much. So instead of us to further our education to some certain level, we just straight up get up and married, and this one also is one of our biggest challenge. But as for the surviving there, is by the grace.
It's by the grace. Thank you, Godwin. The girls, where are you? I think I saw Ashika is here. You are not speaking. Madam Nancy is here. Barikisu, please.
Yes, sir.
When you are done, Cindy. But when Ashika is
Yes.
done, Cindy will talk. Maybe Sado will also talk. Yes.
Okay, sir. Actually, the case of teachers needs a second look. Yes, it's by grace actually that we survive. Because looking at the economy, even if you are not on loans, but you take home.
Your point there. I don't agree with you.
And what?
I don't agree with you. If you don't marry, the young girls will come around you.
Please, Elizabeth, Madam Elizabeth, please. let's wait for one person to finish communicating. If you have a different view, then you come in with it. Okay, let's tolerate everybody like that. Ashika, please, let's continue.
Thank you very much, sir. I was saying that the take home alone, when the burdens on it is always too much. So, and that leads us into debts. Even if you are not on loans, but your current salary on that month cannot secure all your needs regarding what you will remit your family, then you yourself, your kids, and all those things. If you are a responsible parent, then the second pressure on us is because of these issues, coupling it with educating yourself, building, and all those initiatives that you take leads you into getting a loan. If not that, you cannot pursue whatever dreams you wish to. So the little salary that is not even up to your spendings, you rather take part into loans again, and that worsens the issue on us teachers. But sometimes if you don't go in for the loan too, you might be able to pursue your dreams, but it will be late. For instance, it will be late. For how long will you save to maybe build and enter?
Okay. Thank you very much, Ashika. Okay, let's listen to Cindy and Nancy as well. Madam Cindy, let's go.
Briefly.
Okay,
sir. I think teachers have become so knowledgeable in the sense that we are now the managers of the economy. Despite our small money, still we are able to do a lot of things. Some teachers are able to take their children to higher schools. They come home and then they teach them. Then when it comes to feeding, they have planned maybe 221 or 101. Either they eat in the morning and skip the afternoon, come back home and eat from their wife pot. So now, when some of the female teachers, I could say some are lucky, their husbands are well to do, so they are able to feed on their husband's pockets. When it comes to the male, they are now doing galamsey. So the high class people, we are depending on them for extra class after school. So at the end of the day, before you realize it's 28, then we receive another one and we are off to go. And then I could say those in the remote area are now embarking on some farming activities, or they are doing some small job, which also help them in supporting some of these things that we are talking about. So one way or the other, we would say that we are managing, but we are master of the game. So we are able to manage with a 10% increment, 5% increment. So we cut down a lot of costs and we're able to fix in. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Sir, it's me, Victoria.
Okay, Victoria, briefly, then we listen to Madam Nancy as well. Okay. All right.
So as much as it's inadequate, we will say that we are far better than another sector, because some people barely feed in a day. The only thing that we try to do is, like my sister said, you cut down on some expenses, try to go in for the ones that are needed, not the ones. And then you try to get another business in addition to your teaching. Agufado even said that we can't survive. We don't have money, so we should do another thing. If you close from school, you find something else to do. You do small side businesses and that kind of thing. And then we are good to go, especially for those of us who have children, who have other siblings who are dependent on us. It's not as easy as it is. Like Ashika said, trying to develop yourself too comes with additional costs, but it is worth it. Yeah. We will make it gradually.
For sure. Thank you. Madam Nancy, lastly, let's listen to Madam Nancy. Are you still good to go, or you have You don't want to talk
Sir,
anymore. Yes, Nancy.
your question was, how do teachers survive?
Mm.
As a lady teacher,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot survive only on my salary
Mm.
because I need to support the house.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I have about 3 side jobs.
Hey.
Oh yes, if you don't do side jobs, you can't survive.
Mm.
Right now that we are having this course, I don't have time for the job. I am
Mm-hmm.
struggling. But I know as soon as we are done with this, I can go back to
Mm.
my side jobs and manage myself. So that is how I am survived as a teacher.
That's great. That's great. I think I know one of your side jobs, but that one we'll talk about it
Ah,
later. In any case, if any of you have any, what's the name, a party or something that you need some drinks, pastries, just tell
oh,
me. Madam Nancy is there for you. Okay, that's
thanks
just
for
by
the
the way.
adverts.
Anyway, so basically, I think you guys are doing a great job. You guys are doing a great job. This is all just by the way, though, but you are doing a great job, and I would like to commend you for the work you are doing. But still needs much work to be done. It still leaves much work to be done because uh, if it happens that personal inconveniences tend to come into your line of work, then a question is raised. We understand we are all humans, but then we've all been students before. We've all had siblings who have been sort of, I mean, had issues with teachers simply because the teacher could have brought some home issues, usually money issues, that they have at home into the classroom. Okay, as much as possible, let's try and put a barrier or a difference. Let's draw a line between our domestic activities, actions, and decisions from our work, because it is what we impact into students that lead them to wherever they'll be. Okay. And we all know this because we have once been students before and we are also teaching students. Most of the time, you go when you those of you who have smaller, younger children that you take them to the nursery and all of those things. They come back home and they are mimicking their teacher. And this person keep quiet, keep do this, do that. This means that these children are watching. So all of these actions and inactions that teachers put across, the children watch, they understand, they will do the same thing. So aside the commendations that I'll give teachers, because both of my parents are teachers as well, I think there still needs much work to be done. As for the payments, the Nanado has said it all. The teachers have their payments in heaven. Anyway, thank you for your inputs at that. Let's finalize it with this: the vicious cycle of poverty. This is the last thing we are going to look at. Now, low income, which is essentially economic deprivation. Remember, poverty is about deprivations. When you have low income, it creates a vicious cycle. After this cycle, I'll also tell you about something we call transgenerational poverty. So after the vicious cycle of poverty, there's also something we call the transgenerational cycle of poverty. But let's start with this. So when you have low income, it is usually attributed with you not being able to meet some basic needs. Okay, being it health, being it education, being it just certain expenses that you must make that we already know. Okay, now if you have low income, in addition to all of those things, you have low savings as well. Your ability to save will decrease. I would like to pause here to make a comment. Now, when it comes to savings, most people actually save after they have spent, which is wrong. Savings should not necessarily be done after you have spent or when you are done spending. The savings should actually be part of your list, like the list of things that you are going to do with the money. And it doesn't matter the amount of money you are saving. All that matters is that you have saved. That was just by the way. But low income usually leads to what? Low savings. Okay, the amount of money that you will set aside for future expenses or for contingencies will also be low, simply because you are earning low. If you are earning 1,000 cedis at the end of the month, how much out of that 1,000 cedis would you even be able to put down? Because when you factor in transport, feeding, other expenses, you have so little to even save. Now, the low savings that you have will mean that you have low investment. For instance, if Madam Nancy wants to diversify from whatever she's doing now into a different area, and she has not saved, where is she going to get the money from? For those of you who are working or who are saving with a credit union, for instance, well, I've also worked in a credit union before, and I know that the loan they will give you is about a double of your savings. I don't know if it's different elsewhere, but where I ever worked, it is about a double of your savings. So you need money as investment into a different business, but you can't access that money because you have low savings. So which means your level of investment will also be what? Be low. Now, this would then lead you to having what? Low capital formation, or low formation of capital. What are the basic what are the capitals for uh, a business or an enterprise or something? You need land, you need you need skills, you need labor, you need technology. If you have low savings, would you be able to afford the land or even transform the land into something profitable? Would you be able to afford technology or even upgrade it? Would you be even able to employ people if you want to go the manual way? So which means low capital formation. Now, low capital formation will then lead you towards low productivity. Now, what you'll be able to produce, someone has the microphone on. Please mute yourself. Please mute your, thank you. Now, the fact that you have low capital formation means that your productivity will be low. Remember, those of you who ever took the regional analysis and development course under, I think, is it either under competitive advantage or comparative advantage? One of the factors was that you need the factors of production. Now, in that, we're looking at the fact that you don't just have land, but you have to transform the land into a different thing that can earn you more. You don't just have technology, you have to improve on the technology to do better. You don't just have labor, you have to equip the labor with the most innovative of ideas and skills and knowledge to do better. Now, all of those things that come, all of these things come under capital formation. If you are not able to improve on your land as a farmer, you're not able to apply fertilizer and all of those things simply because you have what? Low investments resulting from low savings, resulting from low income. You are going to produce less because your crops will not do well. Okay. And all of those things put together, when you have low productivity, it means that you're also going to earn less, which means now the cycle has what? Started again. Low income. Someone still has the microphone on. Madam Sarah Anku.
Oh.
Please mute yourself. All right, thank you. So that is it. So that's the vicious cycle of poverty. So it starts with low income and ends with low income, and the cycle continues. Now, this leads us to the other aspect of what I was talking about, the transgenerational poverty. So a great grandmother or a great grandfather who is facing or who is currently facing a vicious cycle of poverty, low income, okay, inability to save, leading to low investment and the like. Okay, facing this current vicious cycle, will give birth to a son or a daughter who will also experience the same thing. Because if you don't have money, how are you going to, if you are earning so little, how are you going to put your child through the better educational system to change that child's destiny into a different, to break that barrier or to break that cycle? Okay, and so you realize that the person will give birth to a child who also face this same problem of what, the vicious cycle of poverty. That child will also give birth to a child who is now, should I say, a grandchild? Yeah, I think a grandchild who will also face this same cycle of poverty. That grandchild will also then give birth to a child who also face this same vicious cycle of poverty. What do you think is being created? A transgenerational cycle of poverty. So it is a generation of poor people. So you realize that some people who are just not doing well currently, it is as a result of the exposure they've received ever since they were born, ever since their parents were born, their great grandparents, in that manner, even their ancestors were poor. Okay, and this cycle, the idea is that this cycle will persist until an external influence themselves, they are poor, they cannot alleviate themselves out of the cycle. There has to be an external measure, like a governmental policy, and that is we have schemes like what, the livelihood empowerment against poverty, what we call LEAP. Okay, where monthly they give people some small monies to be able to, but then again, how much money are you even giving to them? That even leads to another cycle that I don't know if I should even start talking about it, but cycle of dependency. A cycle of dependency. Now, it starts someone money. This means that, but if assuming the person is even a shoemaker or a carpenter, you give that person money, the person will wrongly interpret that as you sort of telling him to put aside his job. Every month I'll be giving you 200 cedis. As if, let's even say the person is earning 200 cedis out of the carpentry job, and you are giving him 500 cedis every month. That person is going to feel like, if I'm not working, I'm still going to be earning 500 cedis. Let me stop with my carpentry job. Okay, now that person becomes dependent on you. If at any point in time that income that you are giving to that person, that's monthly sustenance, 500 cedis that you are giving to the person, stops, imagine the situation that will be created. Because the person is now dependent, he has stopped whatever it is he's doing to be earning money from you. If that income stops, that person will go into what we call extreme poverty. And the effects are varied thereof. But let's just pause it here. We are looking at the vicious cycle of poverty. So this is it. It starts with the low income. You earn little, you save little. And then what you require for investment will also be there, because nobody will just off the top of their heads dash you money. It has to be based on something. Low investment will lead to low capital formation, which will then lead to low productivity. And then the low income, because you are producing so little or so inferior, you are going to earn its linked or its related amount of money, which is also going to be low. And then low savings again, the cycle starts, continues. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's lecture. And in fact, we have come to the end of population and development. I hope we have been able to learn a lot from this course, from the academic perspective, from the realistic perspective, as you would like to put it. Okay, a lot of things have been studied throughout these 4 weeks, and I wish to commend you for your time, for your dedication, for your inputs throughout the course. I'm very grateful. But someone's, yes, yeah, everything becomes low anyway. So that is it. I think it is now time for us to go through what's the name? The sample questions that I gave you. Give me a minute to project that. If you have it on your phone, you can also go there. But for the sake of those who don't have their phones, let me project that for you briefly so that we all look at it within about 10 to 15 minutes, or if the time permits, and then we can call it a day. So give me 1 minute to quickly project that for you. Can you all see my screen? All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's go through the questions. Okay, so number one reads, geographers study a population by examining how individuals in that population interact with each other and how the population as a whole interacts with A, culture, B, ecosystem, C, environment, and then D, space. What's the answer?
Environment.
Environment. Hey, wait, the end say, yeah, your friend is exam, everybody will score it too. Or you have some apobi somewhere. Do you guys have an apo somewhere?
No, says by your grace. So
It's by my hey. Anyway, let's continue. Which of the following is not a variable of Human Development Index (HDI)? Is there a hand up? Madam Nancy, yeah, your hand is up.
I was waiting for you so that I will answer.
You this one is like national science and math quiz. Yeah. Anyway, which of the following is not a variable? A, adult literacy rate, B, GDP, C, infant mortality rates, and then D, life expectancy. What is the answer, Madam Nancy? Your hand was up first.
GDP.
GDP. Cindy, Madam Cindy.
It's okay.
C.
C is infant mortality rate. Okay.
It's A. It's A.
The answer is A, adult literacy rate. We don't have that one. That one is not part.
Really?
Yes.
Adult literacy rate? Okay. I think you are all wrong.
The answer is D. So the answer is B.
It's not D. The answer is C. Someone mentioned C. Remember?
Yeah, I said it.
Yes. So whoever said it, I am clapping for you.
Really?
Yes, the answer is infant mortality rate. Remember, the question reads, which of the following is not a variable? I believe you all have your phones with you, so you've all zoomed, you are all at the questions, right? Let me stop presenting this and present the slide for you to see.
That's an C. Which of the following is not?
It's not. What can you see here? It takes into consideration adult literacy rate, which is A, life expectancy, which is B, and then GDP, which is B. What is left behind? Infant mortality rate.
Is C.
Yes, so the answer is C. So please, all the people who said the answer is any other thing other than C, please, you are wrong. All right, let's move on. According to Thomas Malthus, let me see if I can still present the questions for you.
The answer is D, 25.
No
Please,
change.
those of you who have the apple, you are warned. According to Reverend Thomas Malthus, a population could increase by multiples, doubling every year, doubling every dash years. A 10, B 15, C 20, D 25. What's the answer?
D 25.
D 25. Thank you very much. Whoever answered that question so quickly, don't worry. The question will come where you will not be able to answer so quickly. Anyway, number 4, by convention, females are positioned on which side of a population? A, bottom, B, left, C, right, D, top.
Hello.
Say C, right.
C is right.
C, right.
It's right.
That's
Right.
correct. That's correct. That's
The
correct.
males
C,
are the
right.
left.
Yes, yes. That is under when we're studying the population pyramid. Okay, that's good. Now, demography focuses its attention on all these readily available humans. Sorry, let me read it again. Demography focuses its attention on all these readily available human phenomena except A, changes in population size, B, composition of the population, C, distribution of population in space, and then D, migration of the population.
Migration of the population.
My people, did you use AI to solve the questions?
I use a textbook.
Or you have you are attentive in class. Okay.
AI.
Don't worry. The real quiz and the exam will come, and I'll see if you are indeed attentive in class. Let's move on. A woman's reproductive period is roughly between dash years. A woman's reproductive period is roughly between dash years. A, 15 to 40, B, 15 to 45, C, 15 to 47, D, 15 to 49.
1549.
15 to 49. That's great. Okay, let's jump to number 8. Or let's just number 8. A Gini index, what we did today, as a tool for measuring inequality varies from A, 0 to 1, B, 0 to 10, C, 0 to 100, D, 10 to 100.
0 to 1.
As a first question.
Yeah.
0 to 1, say A.
0 to 100.
You are being used as a reference over here. So that's the answer is correct. That's 0 to 100. Remember, with 0 being the best performance or the perfect performance, and then 100 being the worst. All right. Now, with respect to the, let me change to, okay. With respect to the IPAT equation in relation to the environment nexus, the average consumption of each person in the population signifies A, affluence, B, effluence, C, impact, D, technology.
Affluence.
Does anybody have a contrasting answer? Okay,
no.
Let's move on. Which of the following provides a better understanding of population trends and patterns of a country? Which of the following provides population trends and patterns of a given country? A, age structure. B, population density. C, population size. Yes, I'm waiting. A.
Say A.
Age structure. A. Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, we are
Sure,
sure.
sure. I want
100%
you to
sure.
explain to me
It's
why you are
population
saying A.
size. Population size.
Population. I want to see who is saying population size. Population size, please raise your hand. Is that Nana? Nana, you the one? Nana AJ, why did
Yes, sir. I'm Alberta, but I'm just using that
okay?
name. It's population
That's fine.
size.
That's fine. Okay. And who said? Who else said age structure?
Age structure is population density.
Nami William. Okay. So all those who said age structure is wrong. The answer is population size.
Who will be there?
Yes, the answer is population size because all
Hello,
of those
sir.
other things. Yes. Who is that? Who is speaking?
I've not raised up my hand, but you are mentioning my name.
Hey. Apologies. Apologies. I think I like your name. That's why. Anyway, so the answer is population size because age structure is an aspect under population size. Population density is an aspect under what? Population size. Sex ratio is also an aspect of what? Population size. Remember, the question was asking which of the following provides a better population understanding of population trend and pattern. And then population structure is an aspect of population trend and pattern. Population density is also an aspect of that. Sex ratio is also an aspect of that. But population size is the overall. Population size gives you the overall picture. Okay, so it's that one actually provides the better understanding. The age structure cannot, because age structure is just looking at the people between 0 to 15, 15 to 30, 30 to 60, like that. Okay, population density essentially looks at the number of people per unit per area of the land. Sex ratio looks at how many males is to females, but the population size will encompass all of that. So, Madam Ejewa, when I meet you, I'll give you one toffee.
I hear, say. Thanks in advance.
All right. Now, the first country to develop a comprehensive population policy in Africa was, I think, this one. I doubt if anybody will be able to. But anyway, let me ask you the question. A was Egypt, B Ghana, C Kenya, D Mauritius. What's the answer?
D.
Mauritius.
D Mauritius.
Say
Mauritius.
The
Who said
Mauritians.
Mauritius? Ejewa. Ejewa, were you the one who said
say
A?
Say, no, it's me, Cindy.
Mauritius.
Cindy, when you see me, you owe me one topic. The answer is not Egypt, it is Mauritius. Okay.
It's
Now,
Mauritius. I said it.
Wow.
all right. Which of the one important question? Which of the following or which of these is not a characteristic of the third stage of? Is someone saying something?
Yes.
Oh, Emmanuel. Yeah, Emmanuel, proceed.
Going back to question 11, where we have the structure and the population size thing.
Okay.
Looking at the book given to us on page 44, line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. About line 13 or 14 says that the following four representations of population, age, or sex structure provide an overall example of what a pyramid for different levels of population growth would look like. That is where we have the rapid growth, the slow growth, the zero growth,
I
and the
get where the
negative
confusion is coming in.
growth.
I get where it's coming in, but if you look at that statement very well, okay, I want us to try and finish on time. If you look at that statement very well, it is rather looking more at population growth. Okay, population growth, but we are looking at the trends and the patterns. The trends, and unfortunately, I don't know where I have put my book. Okay, but then age structure, as I said, we'll look at the number of people who fall within certain age brackets or certain age groups. Okay, and that is essential in defining the number of people who form your working population, your adult population, your youthful population, your infant population. Okay, so that you can even be able to know how many people form part of your dependent age group, the people who depend on the working population. But that's just about age structure. When it comes to population density, that is what we're looking at when we're talking about the carrying capacity and all of those things. We want to know, when you come to Accra, how many people are living within a square kilometer. But that's just one aspect. Okay, just a small aspect of the population. Now, when you look at sex ratio, you look at 5:1, 2:1, and all of those things. But when you come to the population size will give you the bigger picture, the overall, how many people are in the country, how many people are doing this, doing that. Iman, are we okay?
Oh yeah, that's clear. That's fine.
Okay.
So the answer is even on page 41.
Oh,
Page
okay.
41, line 5 to 7, thereabouts.
They lifted it straight from.
Okay.
Sir, sorry
Oh, yeah,
for taking you back
lifted us.
again. Please, the question 8.2, when you read, you can find the 0 to 100 and 0 and 1. So which is which? The Gini index from the book.
Okay. So here is the thing. Indexes, unfortunately, I don't know where I've placed my book, but usually,
page 83.
Okay, those who have the book, you can see it, but unfortunately, I don't know where I've placed my book, so I can't find it now. But then, the Gini index, okay, is usually measured between 0 and 100. Okay, it's usually measured between 0 and 100. So if for anything, if you see this question anywhere, okay, 0 to 100, you are good to go. Mr. Kingsley, are we okay?
Yes, sir. But when you read the book, I think you see Gini coefficient, as you said, is the same as Gini index. Its result varies from 0 to 1, with 0 being complete equality and 1 is complete inequality. And you can also find from the beginning that 83, Gini index of 0% represent perfect equality. Then you come to a Gini index of 100 implies perfect inequality. So they are all falls under the Gini index. So I don't know.
Kindly give me that page number again.
Page 83 and continue at the 84 up.
Okay, so I'm currently there on that page
83 down, 84 up.
Okay, the index is calculated as the area between blah blah blah. Thus, a Gini index of 0 represents perfect equality, and the Gini index of 100 implies a perfect inequality. On the other hand, if you use the Gini coefficients, its results vary from 0 to 1. Okay. I see where the confusion is coming from. So they are basically the same thing. Okay, they all measure the difference. Mr. Kingsley, by the way, thank you very much for drawing this to my attention. The Gini coefficients and the index, okay, they both measure the difference between the perfect line, the Lorentz perfect line, okay, of equality. Okay, that area and the country's line that we saw earlier, example of that of Brazil, which was in the green line. Okay, but the index, the Gini index, is the one that measures the Gini index is the one that measures between 0 and 100. The Gini index measures between 0 and 100. But if you want to use the coefficient, the Gini coefficient, that one is the one that measures between 0 and 1. If you read it very carefully, you can see it's there. They both do the same thing. Their purpose or their use is the same thing, okay? To measure the area, okay? To just the numerical value of inequality. However, you can use the index or the coefficient. When you want to use the index will measure between 0 and 100, with 0 being the worst, 100 being the best. Okay, if you want to use the same Gini, but now you want to use the Gini coefficient, it will then measure between what? 0 and 1. So if this question, for instance, now question 8, had been framed as a Gini coefficient as a tool for measuring inequality varies from, then which means the A option would have been the correct one to choose. Please, are we okay? Are we
Yes,
okay?
sir. We are okay.
All right.
No,
Thank you
sir.
very much, Mr. Kingsley.
No, sir.
Now, we're back to question 13. Let's quickly do and wrap this one up. Question 13 reads, which of these is not a characteristic of the third stage? Yes.
Please, I'm not okay with the Gini. And you let's finish this one. What you are reading?
If you are not okay, it will be best if we address it right now so that when we move on, you'll not get confused. But anyway,
With the
so
Gini,
the Gini coefficients and the
we started
Gini
before.
index. Please, are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. The Gini coefficient and the Gini index, they basically do the same thing. And as Mr. Kingsley rightly puts, when you go to page 8, you see it says that it is used to compare income inequality among countries. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The Gini is in two forms. The Gini itself is used to measure income inequality. Okay, similar to the Lorentz curve or linked to the Lorentz curve, but it comes in two forms. Do the same thing, but the scale on which they measure is what varies. For the Gini index, the index measures between 0 with 0 being the best and then 100 being the worst. Okay, in terms of equality and inequality. Okay, efficient is the one that measures 0 to 1. So you can use either of them. You can use the Gini index, you can use the Gini coefficient. Just bear in mind that when you're talking about the Gini index, you are referring to 0, or you are measuring 0 to 100. And when you are using the Gini coefficient, you are measuring between 0 to what? 1. Madam Elizabeth, are we okay now?
Yes, please, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back to question 13. Where were we? Okay. Which of these is not a characteristic of the third stage of the demographic transition model? A, falling birth rates. B, low birth rates. C, low death rates. And then D, moderate population growth. Which of these is not a characteristic of the third stage of the demographic transition model? A, falling birth rate, B, low birth rate, C, low death rate, and then moderate population growth. Yes, your answers are welcome.
So the answer is low birth rate.
The B.
Low B. B. Yes, that is correct. The answer is B, low birth rate. All right. Please go and learn those theories well. Pay particular attention to the demographic transition model and the Maslow's theory of whatever it is. Okay. Go and read those ones again. I'm not saying say it will come, but a word to the wise is in the north. Anyway, now okay, so let's put all of these ones aside and then go to the section B. These ones, if you do your one or two things, you can be able to get something over there. Let's go to
Please, some of us don't have the question, so if you can show us,
how
if you can show
come
it
you
to
don't
us.
have the questions? I placed these questions on your platform. Or
Please,
unless
I
you're not
don't.
on that platform.
which of the platforms say?
I thought you were all on the common platform. Madam Mavis, on which platform are you? Because there's a population and development platform for the online people. Are you not on that platform?
So
No,
one of
no,
us are
sir.
not there.
Then not all of us are on it.
Okay.
Sir,
Does it mean that
please.
there are different platforms? Yes.
Most people don't know how to join the platform. They should go to the main page on our timetable where your name is. The link is right under your name. When they
No, it's
click
not.
on the link,
Hello,
they will join the page.
it's not that some of them don't know how to join. Some of the link to that don't work sometimes. So the link doesn't work sometimes. So I don't know. What we have to do is that
Oh, okay.
those of them who don't have, we just DM so that we just give it to you, or just make
Okay.
yourself available everywhere so that we just send them to you.
Okay. So, Mr. Eric,
Okay.
Mr. Eric, I would
Yes,
plead that you do that for me. So I would plead that you just drop your number in the comment section so that those who need the questions, if you have it yourself, you can just forward it to them. If there is any other
right.
platform for population and development, please drop it on that platform as well. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Eric,
I just
thank
did
you
my
very
num-
much.
my WhatsApp number is I'll just drop my WhatsApp number. So DM me so
Thank you
that
very much, sir. I'm very grateful. Very grateful. All right. Let's quickly look at the section B and then we call it a day. Now, citing relevant examples, discuss 5 characteristics of population in a given geographical area. Discuss 5 characteristics of population in a given geographical area. So you can give your own geographical area and then you can talk about it. So anybody to do as the honest? Anybody to, yes, Elizabeth, yes, go ahead. Or your hand is not up. I think your hand is up. Madam Cindy, your hand is also up. Do you want to talk?
Say, am I to give the characteristics or I should cite a relevant example?
Yeah, so the question the question is this: citing relevant examples. So you are going to use those relevant examples to explain the characteristics or to buttress the explanation for the characteristics. Yeah, that's what the question is asking. So do you want to do as the annex? Nobody wants to talk. Okay.
So with the first one, I'll talk about population size.
Okay.
So with the population size, I will talk about um large population experiences their own problems. So if the population grows too large, it may begin to exceed the carrying capacity of the environment and degrade available habitat. So when the population display the base to be small, then I'll talk about a small population. But if the base is broad, then I'll talk about large population. And the larger population faces a greater risk. And then I will talk about a country like Ghana. So that is my example, a typical example of Ghana. So when we take the population size, the base is broad, meaning that from 0 to 15, then from maybe 15 to 20, and I'll describe it as youthful population, and I'll talk about the apex as narrow, being the elderly.
Okay, okay. That's great. Thank you very much. For this particular question, I would ask that you all go back to read chapter 1 again, because everything that you need for this question is in chapter 1. Everything that you need, characteristics of a population, everything that you need is in chapter 1. We are not going to go over this again. Please go and do that justice to that. Anyway.
Please, is at page 5, 6, and 7.
Okay, thank you very much. So those who don't know where the pages are, you've just been informed. Anyway, let's quickly go to question 2. With the aid of a diagram, I don't know how you are going to draw the diagram for me, but I want to see. Explain the demographic transition model. Yes, hello. Yes. I can't hear you. Hello. Hello. Can you all hear me?
Go on.
Wait,
yes, please. You have to. Yes, please. You have to. I don't know if that is all you are asking, but I can't hear. I don't know if it's my network or it's your network. Anyway, the demographic transition model. I will require someone to speak. The ladies are
any of the characteristics you have to give. You have to give.
Yes, Madam Elizabeth, kindly type your question in the comment section, okay? I don't know, but I don't know if it's your network or my network, but if you're able to type it out, I should be able to read it and then explain it for everyone as such. Okay? All right. Demographic transition model. I want a male to explain that for us. Hello? Mr. Eric, if you are here and you can hear me, I know you can hear me. Mr. Kingsley, Curtis is also here. Anybody to Noah? Hey, Mr. Noah, it's been a while. I hope you are fine. Nicodemus is also here. He's been here since we began, but he's not speaking. Anyone to explain a demographic transition model?
Sir, please, I can hear you, but I beg to dodge this once more. I'm just coming back for a funeral.
No, you will not dodge. You are my good friend. I want you to explain.
I'm just coming back for a funeral. I've not even cleaned the tears from my face. So.
Oh God. Anyway.
Hello, sir. Say.
Because of that, you have not cleaned tears from your eyes.
Anyway, let's move on. Anybody to explain?
Mr. Please, with the aid of the diagram. With the diagram is not easy.
The diagram should be easy, but let's hold on. Mr. Jonathan wants to explain that for us. So, Mr. Jonathan, let's go. Mr. Jonathan, I thought you wanted to explain the demographic transition model.
Oh, Doc, I want to answer the last one. So let's finish. When we get to the last one.
You want to answer the last question?
Yes, please.
Anyway, okay, so the demographic transition model, I'll ask that you all go back to read on it. I thought you have already done that. So, and the theories, as I mentioned, for sure, I know that at least one of the theories will come, because there is no way you will talk about population and development without mentioning a theory. So I know that at least one theory will come. Which of them, I don't know. But go and read.
Sir, please. Hello.
Yes.
Well, with the way the question is asked, are you going to bring the absorption, the
Yes.
criticism? Are
Everything
you
that
going?
about the theory. That is essentially you explaining the theory. Everything that you can write or you must write must come. Okay. Yeah. And
Yeah, so
ladies and gentlemen, I will not be doing how to answer the questions over here. You should be able to do that. Okay. For the theories, every theory has an assumption. Okay. I I hope you have a pen and a paper. Mr. Ima, I'm coming to you briefly. Every theory has an assumption, agenda, or its main understanding. Okay, every theory as well has its proponents. Even that one, I don't know if I even gave you these things when we were treating the theories. I think we listed all of these things. Yes, we listed all of these things. Every theory has its assumptions, has its merits and demerits, has its main understanding. Okay, as we mentioned, has the demerits. Okay, so all of those things must come. And if you look through all of the theories in your books and even in the slides that I have sent to you, you will see that all of these things I mentioned are in there. Okay, whoever has that, so that's sorry, unfortunately, I think not everybody is on the platform. So anyway, share it among yourselves. All those who were here from the beginning, make it available. Thank you. Emmanuel, you can go ahead.
Uh, I want to see if I can touch on the demographic transition theory.
Okay, briefly.
Yes, briefly. So it's a theory propounded by Warren S. Thompson in the year 1929. So the main idea of the theory is that it is a theory which attempts to specify general laws by which human population change in size and structure during industrialization. It is a model that explains how population growth and structure change over time as a country also develops economically and then socially. So basically, it describes the transition from high births, how countries transit from high births to high births and then high death rate to low birth rate and then low death rate through different stages of development. Then I'll talk about the stages of the development, where we have, I think, 4 stages. So the stage 1 is the primitive stage. Here you said that we have a very small number of people living on a very large uh, land area. So we have few people living on large parcels of land. What do? They give birth to several children, and these children serve as labor for them. So there is the birth rate is very high in the stage 1. So equally important, we said that a lot of these people die due to diseases from poor health and sanitation and lack of access to modern health. So death rate is equally high here in the stage 1. Birth rate is high, death rate too is high in the stage 1. So population growth tends to be very slow or zero. That's about the stage 1. Then we go to the stage 2. In this period, there are advances in sanitation and then improved medical care. The quality of food is improved, water, sanitation, shelter, and then all this lead to a fall in the death rate. And so there is increase in life expectancy in the stage 2. So in the stage 2, birth rates remain high, but then the death rates are slow. So it leads to rapid increase in the population. That is the stage 2. Then we go to the stage 3. Then we say that as a result of industrialization and urbanization, the birth rate tends to fall. This is because family planning practices are available, good health systems. Children now are being liability other than assets in stage 1. Stage 1, the children were used as labor, so they are assets. But here in stage 3, they are now sort of a liability because they don't use them for labor any longer. So there's the need for you to work and then feed your family and all that. So here in the stage 3, the birth rate and then the death rate are balanced in a way, but just that it is lower than what we have in stage 1. Then the last stage here this stage is reached in highly developed societies where birth rate and death rates are low and population growth rates are 0 or even negative. So those are the 4 stages. Then talking about the criticisms, we can talk about 2 criticisms which are rightly in the book. The theory is based primarily on observations from Europe and America or the Australia.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Ima. Thank you for partly reading from the book to us. But we will not complain. It is good.
Yes.
Thank you for reading to us, but we will not complain.
It's demographic transition theory, DDT. DTT.
Okay. GTP. All right, thank you.
Madam Elizabeth, are we okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question 3 asks, why are the increases in human population so rapid in the 21st century? Going for 5 marks. And then the B aspect asks for you to explain the IPAT. I think I did that this morning. In relation to population, environment, nexus, emphasis on each variable in the equation. So this question is basically asking you to, first of all, explain why human population in the 21st century is so rapid, and then go ahead to explain the variables in the IPAT equation. I think this should not be a problem for you at all. For the sake of time, I'll move on to the next one. Asking you to describe the Human Development Index as a measure of development. So this particular question, if you want to answer, I hope everybody is listening. If you want to answer this question and answer it very well, it is not complete without talking about it or without explaining it as a critique to the GDP. Remember, when we started, those of you who joined early, I explained that GDP was an economic measure of development. It was an economic measure of development. So it looked at the total value of goods and services produced in a country. Okay. Its limitation was that it didn't look or it didn't pay attention to social issues. Okay. And what are some of these social issues? Freedom, independence, peace, health, education, and all of those things. They were absent in the GDP per capita. And this gave rise to another measure of development, what we call the HDI. So the HDI came on the back of criticisms against the GDP. And so it's rather looked at other things as an improvement to the GDP, but even included GDP as part of its measures of development, where it looked at what? Adult literacy rate, life expectancy, and then the economic measure of what? GDP. So if you want to explain this question very well, this is how you start. If you give an introduction, you give or it as a critique to the GDP per capita should come as an introduction, and then you explain its components as part of your body, and then you look at one or two criticisms leveled against it. Remember, all of these things, they have criticisms that have been leveled against them, okay, or disadvantages, and then you raise that as part of your conclusion, and you should be good to go. Now we finally look at the last question. Oh, okay, I think that's all part of question 4. That's okay, so that's
Please,
part of it.
with what you are saying, is it for question A alone?
Yeah, that's A. Briefly,
5 marks.
okay, you explained that briefly. I think I thought I read that as a full question, but that's just briefly. You do that for 5 marks, and then you explain the three types of population policies. So I remember someone saying they want to explain that particular question. Who was that? Was it Jonathan? Anyway, anybody to do that, explaining the 3 types of population policies. The types of population policies. Anybody? Well, there are 3 of, yes, Asempa Emmanuel, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have the pro-natalist policies, the anti-natalist policies, and then the eugenics. So the pro-natalist policies, the pro-natalists are people who are for who support childbirth and then population growth. They are pro-natalists. So their policies is in such a way that they put in incentives for bigger families, or they tax couples who refuse to give birth to children. So any policy that is in favor of population growth is a pro-natalist policy. Then the second one, which is anti-natalist policies, is the exact opposite of the pro-natalist. They are anti-natalists are people who do not support childbirth and then population growth, and so their policies is such a way that anything that discourages population growth is what they put in place. So the overall rule is to reduce population growth rate. So they introduce contraceptions, they legalize abortion, they promote sterilization, and then they don't accept people into their countries anyhow. That is talking about the anti-natalist policies. Then the last one, which is eugenics. We were looking at it the other time, where certain groups which are considered inferior are being wiped out. They are killed because they feel they are not worthy to be part of the population. So it is, you said it's against human rights. For example, the right to live and reproductive rights are being infringed upon in the eugenics. That's a brief overview of the 3 policies.
Thank you very much, Ima. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the last time, we have come to the end of population and development. And I hope you've learned a lot. I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot from your class. I'm very grateful for having me for this 4-week period. And I'm sure you've also learned a lot and you appreciate the time. As I said, your quizzes will be grouped into 2. You have quiz 1, quiz 2. Quiz 1 will cover 1 to 4, chapter 1 to 4. Quiz 2 will cover chapter 5 to 7. So 4, 3. Let you. So please, everybody here must try and join the platform. However you join the platform, I don't know. Please try and join the platform.
Class.
Some examples for you.
Hello.
Please come out with the thesis chapters again for us.
Please, one. Madam Cindy, I'll come to you shortly. The quizzes, you have 2 quizzes. Quiz 1 will cover chapter 1 to 4. Quiz 2 will cover chapter 5 to 7. So 3 chapters for quiz 2. All right. Yes. Mr. Kingsley, are we good?
I'm okay, sir.
All right. Any other question?
Doc, please, what of the end of SEM?
Yeah, so as Mr. Jonathan, you are most interested in the areas. Don't worry. So for your exam, I am yet to receive word on that. But be rest assured that the moment I do, I will let you know. But that means that you must be on the platform, else there will be no way for me to communicate it to you personally. So right from here, contact your colleagues. The number that has been put in the comment section, please contact him and let him help you out on how to join the platform. Is that okay? It's been wonderful having all of you. I hope to see you when you come for your graduation or something. And I hope those of you who are owing me office, I'll take them. Those of you who are owed office, I'll take them from your colleagues and give them to you. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
We are most grateful.
Bye-bye.
We are very grateful.
You are very much welcome. Bye-bye.
Bless you.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, come on, speaking.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
And also on behalf of my colleagues, also we want to say a very big thank you for your time, your dedication, and then your hard work. We appreciate it, and we believe that this is not the end. We will surely meet, and wherever we meet, we always appreciate you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, my boss. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir,
Madam Vanessa, you are speaking. Yes.
sir, please see your face.
My face? Me, I'm not handsome. You can't see my face.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Even the voice tells how you look.
Hey, I beg. Hey.
Yes, no.
Vanessa's husband says,
If you want to see me, enter my DM. You see me.
Ladies, control it.
Whoever wants to see me, don't worry, whoever wants to see me, contact me on WhatsApp. You will see me, okay?
Sir, be careful. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap from the ladies. Will be careful.
Yeah, okay, my number. Let me drop my number on the platform. 02418242250. That's my name. That's my number. Okay.
024.
It's in the comment section now. I think you should be able to see it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So I would love to have you again in our infield time. So we pray so much that our paths cross again.
I pray so too. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your week, my guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Eric. Azima, Eric, please, are you the one who help us to join?
Yeah, he's gone. So just give Eric hi on WhatsApp.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, just Eric hi. Hi is on the comment section. So
I'll send it.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, so all the best of luck.
Thank you. Same to you.
See you at end of SEM. Bye-bye.
End of SEM? No. Me myself, I'm alone. I write alone.
Hey, how then?
You write alone?
Yes. I'm the only center.
Can you explain better?
I'm the only geography student at my center. I don't have any colleagues.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, classmates.
Mom,
Sorry.
mom, papa,
Whom will
I
you
write
talk to?
I write alone.
May God be with
So
you,
that's
okay?
Sure.
God will surely be with you.
God is in
Asempa,
control.
I'll come and
Yes,
join you at your center. I'll come and join you at
I
your center.
I am available, but
Where's your
I would
center?
love to see you as well.
Where is your center?
My center is Hope.
Oh,
Yeah, the
You
Oxygen
are there with
City. Hope.
I see. I
Asempa.
thought you were in Seshi, Sunyani, or
Oh no 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 no! I am at the Oxygen City.
oh, okay.
Asempa.
I'm close to
Yes,
I'm
yes.
Somania.
Then you are there with Eric Azima.
Eric.
Yes. Jason. Eric
Yes,
Azima.
yes, yes.
Eric is there. Eric, Beauty, Mighty. They are at home.
Mighty, yeah, I know Mighty is at home.
Okay, okay. Perhaps I may not have met them before.
Yeah, because we are many.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes. So
Okay.
whoever wants to
All the
come
best.
to
Asefa,
yep.
are you on
Yes.
search platform? Are you on search page?
Yes, yes, yes.
You are there.
Yes.
So can you add me? Or you are not adding me?
I'll see if I can send the group link so that you just join through the link.
Oh, okay. You send me
Yeah.
the link.
Yes, yes.
Have you seen my number?
So give me hi on WhatsApp.
Okay.
My number is 054-3311.
I took your number the other time.
Okay. All right. All right.
Bye.
So just give me hi on WhatsApp, yeah.
Okay. Oh, you gave me the number. Don't worry, give it to me.
054-3311-959.
Yes. 959. Okay.
Yeah.
054-3311-959.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye bye.
Bye. Madam Ashika, I will give you a call. So expect my call.
They are all gone. Oh, they are there.
Oh, they are gone. They are gone.
They are gone. Okay. Some are there.